name's Kelsey and I want to read you my novel Knotweed, Chapter 1. I've already got the script version of it and I'm now writing a novel version of it, trying to get it out there to the industry. So without further ado, Knotweed, Chapter 1, and action. First, take a deep breath, like you would as if you're beginning your first yoga class. Okay, are you ready to open up your imagination, to visualise every black and white description till the bitter end? Eddie Wright wants you to feel like you're at the movies. Eddie Wright is troubled, and secondly, Eddie Wright does not expect you to understand this right away. Actually, I don't expect you to understand it. I don't even understand everything. Most of what I was about to say would take a lifetime to do so. So patience, for goodness sake, and no reading this off a mobile. If you are, I consider you to be not taking it seriously or skipping major points of character development arcs or emotional empathy. Maybe even a plot twist or an optical allusion to what is really going on here. Eddie didn't think he could do this. He wasn't sure he'd be well equipped enough, or whether his English teacher provided him with the necessary tools, prepared him well enough. Yet here he is, willing to give you parts of his life in snippets and the lives of other major characters around him that have influenced him in one way or another, helped or hindered him. What Eddie does know is that if you want to change or want somebody to change, then you have to change the way you are. Not just as a person, with each other as people in order to let yourselves grow. Oh no, alarm bell's ringing. No, don't worry, this isn't a love story. So you can get that right out of your system. However, we will touch on love from time to time, just because it just so happens to be there. Just to give it a different flavour. And I mean, come on. Eddie wouldn't be humorless if he'd never been in love. So what Eddie finally realises, in order to drag himself out of the dark, there needs to be light. So is love the light or the dark? I guess that depends. There's plenty of light here. Pretty sure things just need shifting around to balance it out. That is essentially life to a T. A roller coaster of ups and downs. Yet some people have them more extreme than others. I don't have them extreme. I'm one of the lucky ones. Put your personality into it. That's what people keep telling me. If you put all your energy into it, maybe, just maybe, something can transpire at any given moment. Nobody can fully understand Eddie Wright, as they've not lived a life in his shoes, and neither have I. Eddie Wright is a famous child actor, forced into acting by his overbearing father. Sounds interesting? Not really. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Do you? Is extremely compelling. I believe in this story 110%, because I believe it is relatable to all demographics. That somehow we can get a better understanding of each other through conversing or, of course, reading. So let's get on with it before it rains. Camera rolling. Are you ready? And action. So it's raining. I mean, absolutely chucking it down. Eddie Wright is a man on the run. The street is covered in pollution, and we can see a rat scurry across Eddie's path. An older chap, much older. Okay, calm down, not that much older then. Just reaching the age bracket of around about, say, 70. Young at heart then. This guy can see him from afar, through his telescope to be precise. Binoculars? Sounds about right, actually. Let's go with binoculars. You can't expect me to get this right straight away. I'm a beginner. He sees the man Eddie has become. The man he helped him become. You see, Eddie Wright is a good man. He may not seem it. However, in this man's eyes, he has potential. This man watching on is called Malcolm. And at the moment, Malcolm is just like us, merely a spectator. But fear not, as Malcolm has a strong role to play within Eddie's life, and therefore, so do we. So are you going to help us guide Eddie back to the light? Is he worth investing your time into? Much like you and me, there's plenty of scope for improvement. Eddie isn't going to get it right instantly. I'm pretty confident Eddie is not a lost cause. The area looks really run down, with wooden boards covering almost every window, and the ones that aren't covered are either shattered with bits of glass still present or completely open. Eddie has long blonde hair. He's unshaven and he's wearing a grey prison jumpsuit, like he's just escaped from a prison. Eddie's very thin, very pale, like someone who isn't even well. All he really needs now is the jet black hair to be labelled an emo. Or maybe he'd make a good vampire. Then again, he hasn't got the old world demeanour, nor the bite to go with it. Nope, you wouldn't catch him on a fishing hook. And garlic, how he hates garlic. Some sort of allergic reaction once upon a time. He has to make his own pizza just to be sure, as Eddie loves pizza. Oh, I'm rambling on now. As always, it's almost as if I've forgotten writing, telling you of the great Eddie Wright. So Eddie runs down the dark alleyway, each step leaving a splash, as he comes to a metal ladder running up a staircase, running adjacent alongside the building. He begins ascending the ladder as sirens can be heard. The sirens become louder as Eddie makes his way to the top of the ladder. Eddie turns his neck, looking back down the aisle of the alleyway as he sees a cop car pull up. Eddie can feel his heartbeat, racing, pumping through his chest at an excruciating rate. His heart feels like it's literally going to come out of his chest. Shit! Eddie says to himself, almost not realising he just said it out loud. The sirens get louder as a few more cop cars can be heard screeching to a halt and the sound of a helicopter approaches. A spotlight sounds down the alleyway from the chopper. The voice comes from a megaphone out of sight from Eddie. We got a fugitive. Now get your ass down the alleyway. I repeat, we got a fugitive. On the loose. The lieutenant pauses for a second. I want him brought in by any means necessary. The lieutenant brings his microphone back down to his chest. His hair is thin and grey, yet he still has colour on his cheeks to indicate he's of a healthy age. He's chubby whilst wearing a black cotton jacket with black trousers and boots. The kind of boots that show authority and tell he's in charge. They are steel cap boots. Is he armed? A younger, more handsome rookie asks, standing by his side in a full blue police officer's uniform. The younger officer has a full head of hair, brunette, with a goatee. No, but make no mistake, size can be deceiving. This guy is extremely dangerous, the lieutenant responds. Eddie Wright runs. He runs and he runs and he runs. But he doesn't have to run anymore. He no longer lives in the shadows of a child actor. He has no constraints. He got his wish, his clarity. He found peace within himself. And even if he had failed, at least he would have died trying. And that, my friend, is the greatest gift of all. Eddie must have made his way up 6 flights of stairs, with every step feeling like Groundhog Day or a trip to Snowdonia, sweat dripping down his forehead. This entire building looks abandoned. Either that, or it's a hell of a load of empty council flats. Which is fine with Eddie. He has no time for chit-chat. He's a man on the run, remember? He opens the door that finally leads inside the abandoned building, taking one last glance down the alleyway. In this moment, he doesn't just see police coppers and a chopper in the skylight. He sees a horde of people barricaded off, holding cameras. Once through the door, there is another staircase, a sign saying rooftop, indicating where this particular set of stairs leads. He sweeps up the stairs in a flash, bashing the door open with a loud thud, to see the blinding flashlight and the sound of a chopper. I sold that pretty good, he thinks to himself as he bashed the door in. This distorted chopper becomes more apparent as he passes through the door on the rooftop. With his hands over his forehead, whilst the light is blinding him, he steadily paces himself to the middle of the rooftop. Laughing for a minute or so, Eddie stretches his arms out. He gasps with a deep breath, then yells out, as if speaking to God, I'm here. This is what you wanted, isn't it? Okay, thank you. So that's that part of my, the first part of my book, Knotweed. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. And I'll be reading the next chapter shortly after.